guys, my name is Chandni.
I'm Shalini, and in this video we're going to give you our thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League. And if you're wondering where to watch it, it's on Book My Show's streaming service, and if you use the coupon code PAYHALF, you get 50% off and can watch it for 75.
Before getting into the video, we have reached a really big milestone on our channel. One of our videos has reached over 3,000 views. Oh my god! If you haven't watched that video yet, we will link it up over here. And I would like to thank all of the people who are watching our videos and supporting us, especially to our subscribers, because I know we are in our initial stages and these people really mean a lot to us. And if you're new to our channel, we make videos on movies, shows, anime and other cool stuff. And if that is something you're interested in, please consider subscribing so that we can make and keep making great stuff for you guys.
For those who don't know the whole background of the re-release and the whole Snyder's Cut fiasco, what happened was the original movie was directed and shot by Zack Snyder, but due to personal reasons he couldn't do the post-production. So Warner Brothers brought in Joss Whedon to complete the movie, and what he did was he reshot some of the scenes and reduced the 4-hour original movie to 2 hours, and it got released in 2017.
Which is honestly not that great.
Yeah, it was terrible. And then a clip of the original movie got released on the net, and it garnered a lot of attention, and due to popular demand, Warner Brothers greenlit the Snyder's Cut, which was the original 4-hour movie, and it got released in 19th March 2021. And we watched it.
Now we're going to break down some differences between the theatrical cut and the Snyder's cut. We're also going to explain some parts you might have not understood very well while watching the movie, so spoilers ahead. If you have watched the movie or if you don't mind spoilers, then keep watching. But you haven't watched the movie and if you do mind spoilers, then go watch the movie and then come back and watch us.
First major noticeable change that we can see in the trailer itself is the appearance change of Steppenwolf. He looks so much better now.
And CGI में थोड़ा और पैसे लगा दिए उन्होंने.
Yeah. And we can see why he's trying to conquer the Earth, which is to appease his boss Darkseid and get back into his good graces.
Talking about Darkseid, firstly he's in the movie. I mean, I don't understand why they thought to remove him in the first place. He is the mega boss. So as the story goes, Darkseid many years ago came to Earth to conquer it, and he brought the mother boxes along with him and left the anti-life equation on Earth. When he was defeated by Earth's mighty heroes, the Atlanteans, the Amazons and the old Greek gods defeated him, and while he was making a hasty retreat, he left both of these things on Earth.
And funnily enough, the interactions between Steppenwolf and the hooded guy he's reporting to, whose name we don't know,
And we don't care.
remind us of our interactions with our boss. So,
Oh, Steppenwolf! Where are the mother boxes?
yes, my dear hoodie boss, I would like to inform you that we have found one box and the other two are in progress. My parademons can sense them, so we're expecting some news pretty soon.
I want it by tomorrow!
So, yes, sir!
Oh, Steppenwolf! Where are the mother boxes?
Sir, I would like to inform you found another box, but I would also like to talk to the mega boss, Mr. Darkseid, if it's all possible.
Do you think it will be that easy? You betray us! You need to conquer 50,000 more worlds before you can get an appraisal. अगले cycle में देखेंगे. In the Snyder's Cut, we get to explore the character of Cyborg in a much more deeper way. In the theatrical cut, Cyborg and Flash were pretty much secondary characters. We did not understand them very well or their powers. Here, we do get a backstory for Cyborg. There is this very cinematic looking football match which has lots of slow-mos, ball fetching and like crossing the finishing line with epic music in the background. And while coming back from this football match, he loses his mother to a car accident. He almost dies himself. His father brings him back from the brink of death using the mother boxes. So he's supposed to be this technological god since he derives his powers from the mother boxes.
Coming to Flash, we have a few new scenes with him in it. There's this awesome scene of him saving Iris, who's also in this movie. He saves her from this car crash. There's a slow-mo scene where the car is flying, she's also flying, and he plucks this hot dog from the air and puts it in his pocket, which I think captures the character of Flash very nicely. He also saves the day in the final fight where he turns back time and gives Cyborg enough time to separate the mother boxes even after getting hurt.
He gets hurt by a rogue bullet from Parademon. I mean, Marvel and DC should stop their super fast heroes from getting hurt by rogue bullets. Honestly, that Parademon literally aims and shoots at Flash, who is running at the speed of light. And he can turn back time but couldn't dodge a bullet. This Parademon should join Justice League, to be honest. Wonder Woman is less sexualized in this movie. She's treated with the same respect as any other League member. There are no sexist scenes in the name of humor. There is no boob falling scene. There is no Aquaman passing that sexist comment wala scene. There are no upskirt shots. She actually delivers the final blow to Steppenwolf, which earns the movie the R rating.
And Hippolyta acts like a real queen. She fights instead of running away, and when the whole dome thing falls, she laments the loss of her soldiers. And the Amazons, they look amazing, they look fierce, they look powerful. They look like the female version of 300.
Amazons, show them your fear. We have no fear.
Chills, literal chills.
The other characters do not go through any major changes. Mira's character has this cool duel scene with Steppenwolf where she brings the blood through his orifices, versus the theatrical cut where she just waits for Aquaman to save her. Also, Superman has this new emo look for no apparent reason, but it looks cool, so it's fine. Superman also has this anatomically correct mouth, not that CGI'd off mustache going on in the theatrical cut, so that's full points for that.
And in the epilogue, we are introduced to a bunch of new characters. We have the Deathstroke getting recruited by Lex Luthor, who is now bald because he escaped from the Arkham Asylum for the Criminally Insane, which is supposed to be inescapable, but Lex Luthor managed to do it. We also have Martian Manhunter getting recruited by Batman without no interview process. He doesn't even give his name. Batman is like, what's your name? And he's like, I have many names.
If I had gone for the interview to Bruce Wayne, guys, I would have also been in Justice League. There's also this nightmare dream sequence where Aquaman is dead, Mira is trying to avenge his death, Superman is a bad guy, and Joker has killed off Boy Wonder and is taunting Batman with his far more superior acting skills than the whole of Suicide Squad movie.
Coming to the viewing experience, the movie is in a 4:3 aspect ratio, which leaves black strips on the sides that get some getting used to. And also I'm glad that they didn't break this movie into two parts and make it like part 1, part 2, which I mean they could have made money off of. I would have watched it.
But they did make 2 movies though. It is 2017 wala is also...
Yeah, but that was not their intention. I think that was their final cut. Due to popular demand, they made this one.
Fair enough.
And yeah, overall, if the theatrical cut was a 6, we would give the Snyder's cut an 8.
That brings us to the end of the video. What did you think about the Snyder's cut? Tell us in the comments below.
If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye!